Lake County, Ohio doesn't look like a community in crisis. But this neighbourhood is in the grips of addiction to prescription painkillers.
It was like the devil. It was the darkest place I've ever been in my life.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Catherine.
For Jen Szabo, giving birth to her first child was one of her happiest days. Little did she know it would trigger a 15-year downward spiral of drug addiction.
There's an extreme euphoric effect. It gives you a false sense of hope. It makes you forget everything that's going on because you feel great.
She delivered her first son by C-section. For the pain, she was given opioids.
We go to the doctors to get help, and we trust them. Like if you call the cops, you trust them. That's what they're supposed to do. But what shocks me most is that they were able to do that and ruin so many lives.
She tried to withdraw, but the side effects were too much to handle.
My stomach hurt. My body would shake. I would sweat. I would be nauseated, very irritated, uncomfortable. And I couldn't make it through the day.
She moved on to heroin when she could no longer afford opioids. She lost custody of her 3 children.
That's my oldest son. That's their father. That's me. That's when I first got out. That's my daughter Isabella, and that's Angela.
Only after she was sent to prison did she regain control of her life. She now lives in this home for recovering addicts.
All right, so these are all coins that are very important to me. They mark milestones in my sobriety. This one here represents the first 24 hours that I stayed sober. This one here is very important. It's my 3rd year anniversary, which I just had. So 3 years and counting.
There's no boundaries to this. There's no geographical rhyme or reason to it. It's not rural or a suburban issue. It's a global issue.
Fire Chief Matt Szabo manned the front lines of the crisis for 16 years as a paramedic.
We were just seeing huge spikes in numbers, and that was alarming. How we were going to respond and what else could we do for our patients to eradicate this issue, even though it was bigger than any of us ever imagined.
These 2 counties in northern Ohio became the first in the country to successfully sue the pharmacies for their role in the crisis. They're the last stop in the supply chain of these highly addictive drugs. And this landmark case paves the way for a wave of litigation across the country. There are thousands of similar lawsuits filed in the US. Lawyers for this case believe each county will receive billions of dollars in damages. The money to go towards rebuilding the communities.
This finding not only holds their feet to the fire to try to fix the damage that's been caused, but we think that it forces them to make some serious policy changes and start to take more seriously their legal role.
In the span of 4 years to 2016, in Lake County, it's estimated 61 million prescription pain pills were dispensed. That's 265 for every resident. Over the past year, more than 100,000 Americans have died from opioid overdoses. That's the highest number on record. President Joe Biden has signed 2 executive orders to counter fentanyl trafficking and asked Congress to pass his $57 billion package to tackle the crisis. It favours treatment over jail time for addicts.
All rise. Matter Municipal Court is now in session pursuant to adjournment. The Honorable John Trebitz presiding.
It was foresight Lake County had.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It was one of the first in the country to set up a novel drug court. The idea, recovering addicts attend court each week to report the progress they're making, rather than going to prison. There are now more than 3,500.
You're doing wonderfully. We're very proud of your efforts. Let's hear it for her. It costs 7 times more to incarcerate someone than it does to try to rehabilitate them.
It impacts every facet of their life, from their employment to their family. And then the trickle-down effect ends up being, how it affects their children. It is not uncommon to not only have single-parent households. What I've seen increase over time has been the amount of what we call kinship placements, meaning living with grandparents or aunts and uncles, but also in foster care.
It affects everyone around them because it kind of changes a person completely. He was a very good person and he was always happy to be around, but there was times where he was not himself at all.
Chase Elliott lost his dad at 11. He died of an enlarged heart caused by opioid addiction. He's still dealing with the trauma.
And I've had friends that are like in the current, like they're in the situation now that I was in when I was little, and like I can see the same things I was going through, like they're just angry all the time.
It's a great honor to work in this industry and to be the last people trusted to take care of someone, but it's entirely different when you bring a mom or dad in to say goodbye. The over-prescribing of these types of pills made it easily accessible for kids, and then that's just helped increase the addiction rates. So I do think in many ways it has gotten worse.
Dion McMitro has lived here her whole life. She was a teacher for many years. Now she's a funeral director.
Even though we're burying this one individual, it's not exclusive to the person who is struggling. The entire family ends up struggling. And you see that when we're helping families to make the arrangements and grieve their loved one.
I will have to say I agree with you that this coffee is taking quite a long time.
Jen has regained custody of her 14-year-old daughter Isabella. She's trying to get the other two children back. Her dream to once again live under the same roof.
Oh my God, Mom.
I was lucky enough. Some of these people don't get out. I've lost so many friends, close friends, and they start with what was given to them, and it seemed like it was okay because it was given to them. You know, it wasn't illegal. It was legal. They had the prescription, the doctor gave it to them. All right, some of your new TikToks.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.